Okay, gonna do another section here, starting at 11, and we're gonna go down to and try to get through 13. Okay, Yam now. Kines in Kidebat, ash was falling, navibus, on the ships. Quo, here probably where Accederent, they were approaching more closely. There again, that comparative adverb. Calidior at densior, it was hotter and denser. And now pumices, pumice stones, or there's no verb here, so maybe there were pumice stones, or you could maybe include this in they were falling. Pumice stones even, and lapides, rocks, that were nigri et ambusti et fracti igne, were black and burning and broken by fire, black and charred and broken by fire. And now there was a vadum subitum, a sudden shallow. I guess the bay shallows out, and the shore was being blocked by the ruin of the mountain. I guess debris or something, perhaps that's getting in the way of them coming into shore. So cunctatus, having been delayed, or actually I think it's deponent, having delayed a little bit. I guess it doesn't really matter whether it's deponent or not. Whether he should flecteret retro, whether he should bend back. So he's hesitating, kind of like, should we go back? Mox, soon. Inquit, he says, to the gubernator, to the helmsman. And the helmsman is monenti. Notice that participle modifies the gubernator. He is warning, advising that he do so. So an indirect command. But nevertheless, he says, Fortuna juvat fortes, fortune favors the brave. Pete Pomponianus. Pete Pomponianum, sic Pomponianus. Pomponianus is, I guess, another friend of his. He was cut off. He had been cut off at from Stabiae there, in the middle of the bay. And this next clause kind of describes, I think, the nature of this bay. For nam sensim circumactis cervatisque litoribus mare unfunditur, for gradually with the shores gradually driven around and curved, the sea pours in. I'm not really sure kind of how to understand that. Some natural shape to the harbor or something that's making it difficult for him to get in. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. Although with the danger not yet approaching, so apud of absolute. However, with it being conspicuous, and very nearby, cum cresceret, and while it was growing, he brought in the bags onto the ships. Now, I think the subject of this, it's not clear, but in looking at this, I think the subject of this is not Pliny the Elder, but is this guy Pomponianus, who is et Stabiae. So he was getting ready to leave on his own ships, certus fugae, certain of flight, if a more contrary wind had kind of settled upon them. Where then my uncle was invectus secundissimo, was carried in by a very favorable wind. Secundissimo here, right? Secundus can mean second, but can also mean following, and in respect to the wind can mean favorable. So I think the winds were hitting against the shore, making it difficult for this guy Pomponianus to escape, but making it now, having delayed a little bit, perhaps easier for Pliny the Elder to come in. Complectitor trepidantem, consolator, hortator. Here's where I love the way that Pliny the Younger now is using the Latin, the word order, the devices he's using here are unusual. And notice, you have a verb here, a verb here, a verb here, no conjunctions, a syndeton. And the structure gets kind of more simplified in some ways. So kind of he embraces him as he is trembling. So I think this is Pliny the Elder embracing perhaps Pomponianus. He is consoling him. He is encouraging him, so that he might lighten, lenire, his fear, so Pomponianus's fear, sua securitate, by his own fearlessness or security or bravery. And he orders to be brought into a bath. So kind of like, here, it's going to be okay. Let's go to the bath. And having bathed, he acubat. Notice again, no conjunctions here. He lies down. He dines. And here we get this great phrase, aut hilaris aut quodaique magnum simili salari, which is either cheerful or which is equally great, similar to cheerful. So he's either, Pliny the Elder is either genuinely cheerful or something at least as great, perhaps. He's pretending to be cheerful. In the meantime, a Vesuviamente from Mount Vesuvius, pluribus locis, in very many places, latissimae flammae, the highest flames, very high flames, and alta incendia, and high fires, relucebant, were shining, the brightness of which and the clarity of which was exacerbated by the darkness of the night. So these flames and fires seem even brighter by the fact that the night was so dark. Ille, that man, here I think Pliny the Elder. We got to go to a verb, which I think you have to go all the way to dictitavat, like kind of, and here the imperfect is important. It kind of like kept saying, was repeatedly saying, not dictating, but I think saying that the fires were left, ignes relictos. So here in an indirect statement, relictos, there's an essay implied, by the trepidation of farmers, and that the houses, desertas esse, were deserted, and were burning through solitude, through being left alone. So not that these things were burning because of the destruction of Vesuvius, but by the forgetfulness, by mistakes made by people who were afraid. And he was saying these things in remedium formidinis. In here, almost in can sometimes be used as to kind of express purpose, as for the purpose of a remedy of fear. And then he dedit se quieti, he gave himself to quiet, et quievit, and he rested. Indeed, with a verissimo somno, in a very true sleep. For the meatus animae, the movements, the movements of his breath, which for that man, Ili, on account of the amplitudinem corporis, on account of the amplitude of his body, he's a big guy, was heavy, rather heavy and rather resounding. So the movement of his breath, which was because of his body, because of the size of his body, was rather heavy and rather resounding, was heard audiebatur, by those people who could be seen at the threshold of the door, who were observed at the threshold of the door. And that's where I'll stop and pick up 14 next time.